Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Joe Knows the 2021 NFL Draft Class. And today we're covering your Chicago Bears, who did a fantastic job with this draft. You guys, before I go into any content, before I go any further, um, this is the part of the episode where I kind of just like make an emotional connection with the Bears or with the team that I'm covering. If not an emotional connection, at least a nostalgia connection, and a respectful connection. So I'm a huge fan of the NFL. I'm a fan of one team. I'm a fan of the Giants, but I like what every team, what every fan base brings to our NFL. And that includes the Chicago Bears. I grew up in the 80s, and to this day, the best defense I've ever seen with my own two eyes was the 1985 Bears. Their famed 46 defense was phenomenal. And I'd say the Baltimore Ravens in 2000 was a pretty close second, but for me, the best one that I ever saw with my own two eyes was the 85 Bears. Now you had the Steel Curtain Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s, and give them credit too. That was a little bit before my time. I was around, but I was a little kid and I wasn't following football. And that was a defense too that they also had a very good offense as well. But they went to four Super Bowls. They won four Super Bowls, so they could rightfully be considered best defense over, of all time, possibly just over a long haul. The Bears defense in the 80s, and it wasn't just 1985. They were really good from like 1984 through 1990. They were exceptional. They were an elite defense. But of course, we all remember from the night from 1985, that team itself was sexy. It was a lot of fun. You had Mike Ditka, you had Buddy Ryan, the defensive coordinator, Ditka being the head coach. You had Jim McMahon, you had Singletary, you had Walter Payton, you had Willie Gault, who was, I think, a track star actually, and he was one of your wide receivers. You had Dewerson, you had Dent, you had so much. The Fridge, William the Refrigerator Perry. I mean, it was a fun team. They had the popular rap video at the time, and this is a team that just they came on that field and they came to kick your butt every single game. And I have a lot of respect for that team. That team was a lot of fun. Yeah, even though it wasn't my team, it was a lot of fun to watch, and they were really impressive. So that's my connection. That's my respect for that organization. Really dedicated group of fans. I really like them a lot. The monsters of the Midway. And this class in 2021, you guys did such an impressive job. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. But before we do so, the bells and whistles, where you can follow the show: Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, and Facebook, where we have two pages: Toilets to Titles, and the other one is called When a Family Breaks, which is dedicated to sports memorabilia and trading of sports memorabilia. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Also, please don't forget to hit and like that subscribe button. It takes it takes like a tenth of a second to hit that button if you're watching it on YouTube or wherever, Facebook, Twitter. If you're on YouTube, just do me a favor, just hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it. It helps our metrics and helps us get to grow the popularity of the show. And if you're on Apple, and even if you're not on Apple, if you got 30 seconds, if you can go over to Apple, give us a 5-star review on Apple. That helps us out a lot as well. And then also patreon.com/toilets to titles. If you go there, you can learn how to further support the show. So moving on to our juicy content, Chicago Bears 2021 draft class. Man, you guys, this was an exciting class for you guys. I'm really happy for you. I'm really excited for you. You had 7 picks total, which is pretty surprising considering how many draft picks you actually traded away this in order to move up to get good players, which we're going to get to in a second. But just considering, how often you moved up in this draft to accumulate some really good players, I was surprised that you actually still had 7 picks, and that included 3 6th rounders. And I'll tell you, you really made those picks count. Now, I try to look for a theme for every draft class for every team. Some teams focus on defense, other teams maybe focus on offensive line, and that can tell you, what the team really needed. And you guys, you got good players and value throughout this entire draft class of yours, and especially in really stepping up to protect your new franchise QB. So you got the franchise QB, which we'll get to in a second, and you also got him a lot of help on the line too. Very impressive, really well done. I like that. That is drafting with serious purpose. I love it. And I think you got stars in the first two rounds. Yeah, but you also in the later rounds, because you were missing some of your mid-round picks, I think like a third and a fourth, I think, or a third and a fifth. But you know what? The picks that you had in the later rounds, like the sixth and seventh, I really liked who you got there. I thought you got really good value. These are guys who have potential to be a lot more than just late round picks. I think they could be potential starters, legitimate potential to be starters down the road. And I'm looking forward to covering them, which we're going to do right now. And the star of the J, Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio. You guys drafted up with my team to get him. I thought it was a fair deal for you guys. I didn't think you overpaid or anything, and I really don't care. When a team is going for a quarterback, I give them a lot of leeway in terms of who they're trading for, how much they're trading. If even if they don't trade anyone, if they take a quarterback who people experts deem to be a little too early, I really don't care. They feel like they see something in the sky, and this quarterback for quite a few reasons could be a good fit for that particular organization. I give them a lot of leeway. I also give them a lot of leeway in the coaches that they hire too. But Justin Fields, I thought it was great that you moved up to get him. Your organization needed it. Your fans were foaming at the mouth for this move, and you did it. And it was really cool to see. I did go back and check out reactions from quite a few Bears fans from around the country to when the trade was made and when they were moving up, and then when they drafted Justin Fields, and to a man, to a woman, to a fan, to a Bears fan, they were all ecstatic. I mean, I'm sure maybe there might have been some people that weren't crazy about it, but the ones that I saw, these people were really ecstatic, and you could feel their excitement, and it was really cool. Anyway, Justin Fields, all I'm going to say is that it's not much to say that this guy's exciting. The potential here is great. I thought, you getting him at number 11 in the first round was he could have won earlier, easily could have won top 10. And you did it right. You got a guy with so much potential. I don't know, how he's going to be this year because he didn't have all that much starting experience at Ohio State. But he put up big time numbers. He's a heck of an athlete. He's got a great arm. He really has everything that you're looking for in a potential franchise quarterback. And so, we'll see how it goes the first year. But if he doesn't really get on the field until later, or if he doesn't look that great when he does, just chill, take it easy. I think it's really next year that counts. Unless he's stepping on day one, we can evaluate him more. But even then, he's a rookie. Take it easy. Who knows? Maybe he goes like Justin Herbert and he takes the NFL by storm. But usually that doesn't happen. Take it easy. This guy's got so much potential. I think you have so much to look forward to this guy. I love the move that you made. I thought it was cool. I'm glad that our two teams could hook up for a trade because I wanted my Giants to trade back. I loved it, and I thought 20 was not trading back too far. So I loved it. Glad it worked out for both teams. Tevin Jenkins. I love this guy. You got him in the second round, the seventh pick overall in the second round. And if I recall correctly, you traded up to get him. I think was a good move. I'm not generally a big fan of trading up to get players unless it's a quarterback, or maybe like a stud defensive end, possibly. But I'm not like a fan of trading up for players. In this instance, I think you were right to do it. And I wouldn't have been disappointed as a Giants fan if the Giants had taken Tevin Jenkins at number 20 in the first round. I think the clear-cut best offensive line prospects were gone by that point, like Vera Tucker, Penny Sewell, Rashawn Slater, maybe another one. But Tevin Jenkins was right behind those guys. And I think number 20 would have been cool value for him. The Giants could have used, more depth on young talent on the offensive line. And I would have liked him. He lasted to the second round, which I was a little surprised about. But you know what? You guys made a move to get him. He's awesome. This guy is versatile. He is a mauler. He goes to the game, goes to the line, and he plays angry. That's what you want in an offensive player, besides attributes. But he plays angry. You want to have that in an offensive line player. And you got that in Tevin Jenkins. This guy can play left tackle. He can play right tackle. He could be guard. We'll see what the Bears need and where they think he fits best. But no matter what, you got yourself a quality starting offensive lineman for probably the next 12 years. I love it. Wherever he's going to fit, wherever he plays best, to me, it doesn't matter. You got a really good player. This guy, I think he's got Pro Bowl potential in him down the road. Where I don't think he's gonna be like a perennial Pro Bowler. He might make like one or two. I think he's really solid. So you drafted your young quarterback, and you're getting him the help that he needs on the line with some other fellow young classmates in this draft class of yours. I love it. To me, And with the next guy you took too, Larryborham, guard from Missouri. You got your quarterback, and then your next two picks, offensive linemen, one of them being a really good one in Tevin Jenkins. You're drafting with purpose. I love it. It is laser focus. You're getting your franchise quarterback, and you're getting guys to help protect him. Larryborham, guard out of Missouri. You got him. So you didn't have another pick until the fifth round, which is good because you got your franchise quarterback and you got a stud on the offensive line. So after that, everything, in my opinion, is icing on the cake anyway. So, but you got the guard out of Missouri. This dude is big. He's 6'5", 322 pounds. He played at Missouri. He played at left tackle, right tackle, and then he finally settled in at guard. I guess that's where they figured that he played best, and that's where he actually is expected to translate best to the NFL is guard, which seems to be the normal story for most tackles. But anyway, I thought you got in fifth round. I like this a lot. This is a guy who, even if he doesn't, he could wind up being a starting guard. I do believe that. I do believe that he could wind up being a starting guard. Even if he isn't, this is a guy who's going to give you key depth. This is a guy who could be a swing tackle and play on the inside as a backup if need be. But like I said, he might wind up being a starting guard for you. Maybe not this year, maybe the second or third year, but I think he's got that serious potential to be a starting guard. And if not, I think his floor is very good depth player. Key important when you can get a guy who has experience already playing both tackle positions and the interior at guard. Man, that's awesome. I love this pick. Giants could use this guy too. Absolutely loved it. So, man, with these late round picks here, I thought you guys really hit home runs in terms of value, in terms of potential. Khalil Herbert, your first pick in the sixth round, was the 33rd pick overall, running back. I love this guy. I would have loved the jump for the Giants to draft a running back, which they did. They took a guy I really wasn't familiar with in Brightwell. That's for the Giants video, though. No knock against Brightwell. Khalil Herbert, I was very familiar with, and I'm actually surprised that he lasted this late. I thought he easily could have been a fourth round pick, definitely a fifth round pick. I can't believe he even lasted to the sixth round. He's only 5'9". I don't care about the height so much with a running back, to be honest. Not too much. 210 pounds. That's solid. Okay. This guy, he was originally at Kansas, I think, for 3 years, and then got pushed out by Puka Williams. He decided to push out of the starting position, if you will, starting slot. He decided to transfer over to Virginia Tech, and his last year in the NCAA, Virginia Tech, he put up 7.7 yards per rush and well over 1,100 yards in 2020. That's all of last year, just last year alone. And he averaged per game last year. He averaged 162.8 all-purpose yards. This guy runs. He's a good runner. He's not an awesome runner. He's more of like a between the tackles type of runner, which I actually like, but he can get around the corner too. This guy always falls forward too. I love that in a running back. You're going to get hit. Please fall forward for at least another half yard, maybe another yard, maybe 2 yards. Maybe you can leap a little bit for those 2 yards, but I like running backs who fall forward, and he does that. This guy is also, he's not too experienced in terms of being a receiver, but he can do it. And give him more experience. Maybe he'll wind up being very good. But it's not new to him. Some running backs are never asked to go out in the passing game, and those are guys who are obvious, just 2-down running backs. This guy could wind up being a 3-down running back for you. He may not be a starter. He probably won't be a starter down the road. I should say maybe, but I think he's got real potential to be a starting running back for you if you need it down the road. And he was also a punt returner. So that's where the all-purpose yards, 162.8 per game, comes in. So mostly rushing the ball, a little receiving the ball, and also on punt returns. That's value, man. Sixth round, you need punt returners, of course, too. And this guy could be a great, if he doesn't wind up being a starter, he could wind up being a great number 2 or number 3 running back for you. And a punt returner, this guy's give you depth. You got really good potential in your late picks, man. I'll tell you, Bears fans, you should be happy with this draft class. I'm sure you are. I'm just, as an outside voice, I'm just reiterating it. Damn, I'm impressed. Darius Newsome, another guy I loved a lot. 6th round. Why he lasted this long, it's beyond me. This was a very deep class. That's why you were seeing really good quality picks going this late. But I have to tell you, there were some classes for other teams that their 6th round picks, their 5th, 6th, 7th round picks weren't this impressive. And here you are scooping up this real talent late in the draft. Darius Newsome, wide receiver out of North Carolina, 37th pick overall in the 6th round. He's not a big dude. He's 5'10", 190 pounds. They don't all have to be big. That's okay. But you look at his production, especially he had good production in North Carolina, but he was also playing with other talented wide receivers. Yet last year, I'm sorry, 2019, he had 72 catches, which is a good amount. That's a lot. He had 72 catches and over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns in 2019, and I think that was in 12 games. So he was almost averaging one touchdown per game. That's impressive. He's projected to be a slot receiver and a gadget package type player. So he kind of actually reminds me, and the way he runs, the way he plays, he actually kind of reminds me of Darius Tonga in that they're shifty. They're kind of hard to get down, like kind of hard to get your hands on him actually. So he's kind of like a Kadarius Toney, and man, you can't. That's great. This is a guy who could wind up being a really valuable, really good slot receiver for you, and he is fast. I'd say he's more quick than fast, but he's fast. I mean, I'm excited for you. This is great, man. The 6th round pick, Darius Newsome. The guy should have been gone in the 4th, maybe the 5th round, just like Khalil Herbert. And here you got both of those guys in the 6th round. God bless you. Incredible. Thomas Graham, cornerback out of Oregon. This is a guy I had my eye on for the Giants for a late round pick. I was looking for whenever I was doing my mock drafts, my draft simulators, and I did hundreds of them for like 3 months leading up to draft day. I would always try to make sure I got Thomas Graham like in the 6th round for like our last pick. The Giants didn't have a 7th round pick, so our last pick was in the 6th round. I always try to scoop up Thomas Graham. He'd be there. Lo and behold, he is there in the 6th round. I thought this was great value. I thought he actually could have won a little higher than this. And this seems to be where he was ranked by most experts anyway. It was kind of like a 6th round pick. I actually kind of like him more than that. I'm not saying you can pencil this guy as a starter down the road, but he's a pass. The way as I have it in here in the blue bar, he is a pass breakup machine. He gets his hands on and around the ball. He makes it not easy for a receiver to make a reception. He probably, just based on the research I'd done on this guy for over a while, and just on the quick research I did before I did this video, just to refresh my memory, he probably projects best as his own corner. That's good. And maybe he's not a one-on-one guy, but I do think he can be a darn good one as his own corner, because even if you're running say you're running press coverage, say you're running man coverage on your defense, and that's your base for your secondary. A lot of times, teams like the Giants, ideally, that's what they want to do. But there are times when you do roll out zone coverage, and you need players who could do it, and he could do it. I like his talent a lot. He's 5'10", he's 192 pounds. Again, he's not big, but I think he's a quality football player, and I think he's going to be. Yeah, I think he's going to bring you something. Not necessarily a starter, but I think he's going to fit a role or some certain roles very well. I like it a lot in the 6th round. Really, really good. And your last pick overall, I think it's pronounced Kairis Tonga. I think it's Kairis Tonga. And defensive tackle out of BYU, is the 23rd pick in the 7th round. He was 6'2", 325 pounds. 325 pounds. 6'2" is not all that big for a defensive tackle. 325 pounds, that's a big dude. And he can play. What's nice about this guy is that he can play defensive tackle, of course, like all defensive tackles that can play defensive tackle on a 4-man line. But he can also play nose tackle as well in a 3-4. So he's giving you versatility. I'm not sure if you're a 4-3. I think you're a 4-3 defense, Chicago. I'm not sure if that's what you are. I don't know if that's where you're staying or transitioning to another style defense. I think you're 4-3. But I'm sure you'll probably play 3-4. Like most teams, most defenses, they're switched up a little bit to confuse an offense. They roll up, even if they're 4-3 base defense, they'll roll out a 3-4 quite a few times to confuse the quarterback. And you can have this guy as a nose tackle. And I think at worst, I don't know if he's going to be a starter. He could wind up being a starter on a 4-3 defense. He could. He's got potential. Not a great guy, not a great player, but a starter nonetheless. And he's a space eater who can push the pocket a bit. So this isn't a guy who's going to be getting sacks from the interior, but he eats up space. He can absorb the run, and he can push the pocket a little bit. But you got a guy who could be a pretty decent 4-3 defensive tackle, but he could also play nose tackle if you're playing 3-4. So he gives you some versatility. I like it. And at the back end of the 7th round, guys and ladies, what more do you want? So overall, I thought you guys did really well. Chicago Bears, good job. Good job. And so moving on to the end of the program, Twitter handles for me and all my fellow contributors and co-hosts here at Toilets to Titles. Great bunch of guys. We all contribute to the to Toilets to Titles in one way or another, whether we're doing videos or we're doing writing now. We also have articles coming out. Follow them all. Great bunch of guys. And also, please, just as a friendly reminder, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and give us a 5-star Apple review. If you're on Apple, that would be great. If not, if you got 30 seconds to spare, go on over there and give us a 5-star review because you love us and I know it. Anyway, guys, that's it for the Chicago Bears. I'm so happy for you, your fan base, Justin Fields, and all the picks that you got a lot of good value in the 2021 draft class. You did really well. Very impressed. Anyway, peace. Love you. I'm out of here. Until tomorrow when I'm back with another video, everyone. Take care and have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. It's Saturday over here.